Hi, and welcome to Wednesday's tutorial for Mini Album Swaps and More. And this is the project that we're going to be making. I've already gotten ink on here. So I want to show you this little box. It is actually a stationery box, and it's not all the way finished. Let me go ahead and turn it. But I wanted to go ahead and get at least this part done so that I can show you, since I didn't have one available at the time. So our little stationery box, let me move it again this way. As you can see, it's almost like a crayon box. So I'm going to show you how to make this. The only difference is we're not going to be doing the decorating. I'm just going to do the construction. So you have a choice here. You can decorate it, all your pieces, before you tape them together like I'm going to show you, or you can tape it together and decorate it. It's not really an issue. For this one, I started to use the Raining Cats and Dogs. And what we have is you're going to have this nice area. You can actually make a small mini album to go in there, not a heavy one, or you can do greeting cards. That would be a super nice gift. Then you can do the 3x3 cards that will fit in this pocket. And then you could even put some tags over here. That's what I usually do when I make these for craft shows. And then over here, I just did on the Raining Cats and Dogs. I took some of the pieces that were the cut aparts. You can actually write on there, and I'm going to show you how to make the little address book. And of course, I would, this is going to be decorated up a lot more. Then this little pocket will hold stamps. So this is your postage stamp pocket, and then you have a pen holder. Now, one thing that's nice is you can buy the pens that you can open and actually use the same pattern paper to decorate with. So you can actually have it completely match. Then when you close it, of course, the pen fits right inside. You can see you'll decorate all of this. This folds around and the lid goes on. So this makes an awesome, awesome gift. You can, just adorn it any way you want. You can make it, you can put little file folders here. It could be for coupons. It could be, sitting on your kitchen counter. You could also make it just for someone maybe, that you need to mail a gift and you don't want it to be too heavy. So this just makes an awesome gift. And if you do craft fairs, these sell really well. But let me tell you, you do want to make your base out of a heavy cardstock. And then you want to line it with your pattern paper because it really helps add the weight. So let's get started. Now you can make this out of pattern paper if you want, and then you can also line it some more, but you do want it heavy. So let's get started. I put the measurements on Mini Album Swaps and More, but for the video I'll go ahead and I'll let everybody know what they are again. So we're going to start with the 12x12 sheet of paper. Let's see if I can get this up here a little better. So this is the 12x12, and what you're going to do is you're going to score at 3, and we're going to score again at 9. Then you're going to turn it and score at 5. We're going to score again at 7. So we're going to just set that aside. Now our next piece, you're going to want to score on 3 sides at 1 1/4. Turn again and 1 1/4. We're going to set that aside for just a moment, and we're going to start with our 12x12 sheet of paper. I like to go ahead and fold my score lines first. And this is the Cardabella cardstock, and it's fairly new, and it's all I use now. It's nice and heavy, so it does take a little bit more pressure when getting those score lines, but if you notice, it doesn't crack, it doesn't kill. Absolutely gorgeous, and they are coming out with more colors in January, so I'm getting excited for that. Now, on this piece, we're going to cut right up to that first score line on each side. Just with your scissors, you're going to want to go ahead and cut that in. And I've got score tape on my blade. I'm going to cut the next one. And like I mentioned, if you do craft fairs, this is a really neat thing to make. They don't take long, And here is also, if you want to decorate it, you can go ahead and do your pattern paper. After we fold this up, I'll show you. Then you can go ahead and start your pattern paper if you're going to decorate it before you put it together. But you can still decorate it even after we've done this step. So go ahead with your adhesive. And I suggest you use something that is quite strong. Get my Cricut hook here. It makes things go faster. And then just go ahead and fold that right over. Oops. And we're going to fold that right over. You're not even going to see that. So what we're going to do now is we've got to get rid of some of this. So I'm going to use my small cutter, and we are going to cut this off. We're going to cut 1 3/4 of an inch off. Now, you want to be careful when doing this, because you know when we're using a cutter, we want to go all the way down. You only want to cut this top portion. So go ahead and get that on 1 3/4. If you do happen to go down, don't worry. You're going to be able to cover it with pattern paper, but it's just aggravating. I do it often. Now we're going to line that up at 1 3/4 again. Remember, just our top. This is also another way to get rid of your scraps, to use them up. The only piece you need is this one 12 by 12. So now you can see we're starting to form a small box here. And that's where the other piece comes in, where you scored it at 1 1/4. Let's go ahead and get our scores all done. Now on this one, so that we can get that box effect, we're going to cut out these corners. So at the bottom, just go ahead and cut that right out. Straighten that up a little bit more. Let me check this piece because I did get a little off. I just want to straighten it up a little bit more. Okay. Oh, moved my garbage can. So on this one, with the score tape, I am going to put it right along the spot, this score line, and then again at the bottom. Because I like to put greeting cards, I usually make 4 or 5 cards to go in the pocket here at the top. You want it to be strong. You don't want this to fall off or come loose. Now, if you notice, this is going to fold this way and in to make our box. So you have this piece where this is going to go right up and butt up against. Now, this is also the part, again, if you want to cover with your pattern paper, you can go ahead and do that, or you can do it after. It'll hide. You can hide up a little bit more. And I've done it both ways. It works great either way. So now we're going to take this piece and you're going to line it up right here at this bottom. Got a little bit of hanging over, but that's okay. No one's going to see. I'm going to remove one side at a time. And bring that up. Now this is where I'm going to turn it over and get in there. Make sure everything's adhered. Now it gets a little clumsy to work with. You just have to move your sheets, sheets around to where you want them. So let me move it this way. So I'm going to remove the score tape. And once again, make sure everything meets. Turn it over. And there you have your box. Now, you may have seen also on Pinterest, people have taken these and made, you know, the crayon box little albums with tags. So that's how you would make that. And actually, you just wouldn't have this part. So makes for a really cute gift, again, at Christmas coming up. So we're going to go ahead and score. Once again, you're going to need your scoreboard. On these two flaps, the flaps on each side, I'm going to score at 11, and I'm going to score at 1. Go ahead and crease those over. So those are what's going to wrap around your box. I have made these boxes where I've cut this off. You can, but I like it. I decided to leave it. It actually gives a little more space for the recipient when they open it. And like I said, you can put some journaling here. You could even put a couple more little notepads. And then it would just fold around. And on goes the lid. Okay, so our next couple pieces. Now these pieces are going to be the little pockets that sit. So hard to get this, that are going to sit right here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make these, but we're not going to be able to adhere these because you do need to have your pattern paper down for that. So we're going to score it 1/2 and 1. Oh, and this piece is 4.5 by 2, and then this piece is 5.5 by 2. So let's score again at 1 and 1, and we score both pieces identical. And I'll show you the reason. You want these to become these boxes right here. And again, see, these boxes will hold tags. They will hold, this one will hold the 3x3 note cards. You can put some tags here with cute little pull ribbons on it. So they have extra writing, or you can put the little 3x3 cards with the envelopes and anything like that. That's just really cute. So let's go back to this one and let's fix our score lines. And on this, we're only going to put score tape on this outer 1/2 inch. And then once again, it's crooked here. Okay. Now, when you're ready to put this down, so I'm not going to put it down right now, you will fold in the score tape. And this first one, like I said, actually this gets easier to work with once you start putting the paper on because it becomes heavier. So your first one will sit right there. And you do want it to come right to the bottom. And then the smaller one for little gift tags will sit right there. And I will be making these for a Christmas boutique that I'm doing. And actually inside of here, I will have some Christmas cards or a little Christmas planner, and I'll put the Christmas gift tags in there so the recipient will have them to put on the gifts. And they sell really well. So there's how that will fit. But I don't want to put it down until my pattern paper is down. So I'm going to set those aside, and we're going to make the book. So for this one, I have cut, this is just regular printer paper. You can use line paper, you can print paper off. Gosh, you can use just about, you know, anything you want, but it does need to be lightweight. And sorry, I'm just getting back to my notes because I wrote this up. Okay. So on your your line paper or printer paper, this is 3.5 by 6, and I'm going to just fold that right in half. And I have, like, I think 4 or 5 pages. You don't want it to be too thick. Yeah, there's 5. So now it makes a book of 10. And then you'll need a piece of cardstock 6 1/2 by 3 3/4. Now on this one, we're going to go ahead and score at 3 1/4 and 3 3/4. Now you want to take your piece of paper and line it up with the other edge and fold it in half. And basically, I'll show you when I turn this over. This fold, this score mark becomes the fold that opens the book. Then we're going to go ahead and take our paper and just set it inside. And you can go ahead if you want and find your middle. I don't usually, I just kind of guess it. 3, and then I'll go with 1. But you can go ahead and measure it out if you want, because you're going to need your Crop-A-Dile, or you can use the stabbing tool if you have one of these. This is the really sharp pointy edge, and it'll go all the way through. You will need a tough surface for it. Mine's covered in glue. I got to get that cleaned off. And then I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm going to use my smallest hole in keeping everything together. Everything's just a mess. I haven't really gotten myself put back together from all the weddings this summer. All right. Go ahead and punch right there. Really have to clean that out. I had 3 weddings, April, May, and August, and they're over and done with. And I can get back to crafting. And one more. Now, you're going to want to go ahead and have some eyelets. You can actually take string through there. Anything that you want to hold your book together. And I'm going to go ahead and use Brad's. This one looks like a button. You can get the ones with rhinestones. You can really make this girly or masculine. And there's our third one. Now, when I go to put my book down, I will have score tape. Oops. I will have scored tape across the back. So to hold that down, I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of score tape right now across my brads. And I will cover the whole book. I won't put this down again until my pattern paper's down. It will sit right here, and then as you can see, it will flip open. Isn't that cute? So we're just going to set that in there for right now, because we need to go on to our little pocket that is for stamps. This one that sits right next to the book. And this one measures 3 by 2. And I'm going to go ahead and score this 1/2 inch. My finger got in the way, it's so little. 1/2 inch on 3 of the sides. And go ahead and fold up your, this one's pretty simple, just like if you're making a pocket in your scrapbook album. But I am going to go ahead and cut my corner pretty much completely out. And then score tape. And when I get ready to put it down, I'll fold those 2 in, take off the score tape, and just like the little stamp box here, that will sit right there. And again, you'll need to put your pattern paper down. So as I'm going to start just putting all my pieces and parts that I know need to go on my box. I just sort of store them in here. Our next piece is your 2" by 1.5. Now this is your pencil holder piece. You can also do this one just out of the pattern paper if you'd like, and actually that's what I did. Let me show you. That's what I did on mine. I just used the pattern paper only because this is really hard to cover once it's in the roll, but for the video I just want to show you how to make it. So my pen would sit right in there, and I think I gave you the measurements, didn't I? It was 2 by a little over 1.5. It doesn't have to be exact. So what you'll do is you'll take the paper, roll it around the pen, preferably the pen you're going to use, and then I just, oh, that one's too wide. Use 1/4 inch and find the end. Okay, go ahead and put your 1/4 inch right across there. Remove the backing and then just roll it back on over. Put a pencil or a pen in. These tools are a little bit chunky for this. Make sure it's down, and then I'll put more score tape right on the edge, and then it will be put down almost at the bottom of your planner. So you'll have the book, the pen holder, and your little stamp pocket, which will go right next to your book. Now, over here is where you can also, if you wanted to just have some more pattern or line paper, you could also make some little books like that. They would flip up. I've done that before, and you can put some more paper on these sides, and it looks really cute too. So there is the box part. The making of the cards, whatever you choose to put inside, you know, is kind of personal preference. Your box will fold like that. Now all we need to do is make our lid. So for our lid, you're going to need the 10 1/8 by 6 1/8 piece of paper. You want to make sure it is exactly 6 1/8 by 10 1/8 in order for it to fit perfectly over your box. And we're going to score 2 inches on all 4 sides. And fold up our score lines. Score pal insert. There we go. That's what I love about the Score Pal. The insert that comes with it, you can also cut on it, and it makes a really, really firm surface for poking those holes if you need to. And it just sits inside your scoreboard. I do have this scoreboards on sale. I have them on order, actually. They'll be here next week. Okay, now for our lid, we need to cut right through the score line to the, right through this score line to that score line. This is how a box is formed, either by cutting out corners or cutting your score lines. So as long as you remember cutting your score lines, you can form almost any size box you need. So these will go right on the inside. And we need to just add our adhesive now to these flaps. I've even used hot glue when making boxes. It works great if you're quick. I actually like using my hot glue gun. I don't use it on the pattern paper, just on the box construction. Okay, let's go ahead and remove score tape, backing, and then you just want to bring it from the inside and bring the bottom up. Make sure everything matches. Turn this a little bit. There we go. And we're going to do the same for this side. Now, if you want, I'll show you too on this other one. You can go ahead on this edge. I won't do it too much. You can actually cut that down. And to be honest with you, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just miter it. What that does is it keeps it from sticking out over the top. See how that stuck up a little bit? And so unless you're really good at mating those up, you might want to go ahead and let's get the inside and miter that top. See, now it sits and it doesn't hang over the edge. Now I'm just going to fold that inside. Remove my score tape. And clean up a little bit. So yeah, don't forget, like I did, go ahead and miter that off so that you don't have it sticking up over the top. And let's bring our box back over. And oh, and when you are doing your pattern papers, you notice you have this area that needs to fold. So make sure when you measure, this is going to be 6 by 5. Is what you're going to cut it down about 4 7/8 or 5. Yeah, 4 7/8 by 5 7/8. Don't cover this. You'll want to go ahead and just do a separate strip. If you go over that, it's not going to fold correctly. So now we're just going to put our box on. Oh, and it is up to you. Let me show you. You can take this off if you just want it to come up and meet on the sides. I have made, like I said, I made my boxes that way before, or you can leave it so when it opens, you have a little more room. Totally up to you. Put your lid on. And there we have our box. See the difference how on this one you can see a little bit. This one I mitered, this one I didn't. So make sure you do that. And then you just go through and decorate it. And it turns out to be such a beautiful gift. So I hope you really liked this little class that we did. And if you need any help along the way, don't hesitate to give me a holler. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.